Thanks for joining in on our webinar today, where we'll be going over some new automation features and updates that we'll be having. So I'm excited for this webinar because we finally launched a lot of features that we have been waiting on since our migration from HelloNote 1.0. So I'll go over a few of those, and I will also look at some Q&A questions that came in. And we'll also post the results of the survey that we did from the automation from the last webinar. So we could see what everyone wants as far as which automation features are most important. All right, so let's see here. So a few things. Also, we have some upcoming events in the last email newsletter. We should have sent you some events that are coming up, so please look over those. And I'll be going over a few of those here as well. So to begin, let's start off with some major updates that we had. So one of those was the announcement feature. So I know a lot of you have been waiting on that. So for the announcement feature, just to quickly go over this, on the left sidebar, right, you have a tab for announcement. And when I click announcement, I do have the option to select who I want to send to. So we can send either to emails to patients, emails to providers, SMS to providers or patients, and e-faxing to providers. So this is actually really useful if you want to send a blast out to inform any of your patients, providers, or even internal users. We do have an option for that coming. Keep in mind, this is a brand new feature. We just turned it on. We enabled it for a few clinics already. We've been getting some feedback. We're going to be enhancing this tool over the next month and even beyond as we get more feedback. One thing to note about this feature is this does come as an extra cost because we have to pay our vendors to send everything. So if you are interested in it, please let us know. It starts at $25 to send a blast. So it's definitely cost effective. So please reach out to us and we'll send you the tier levels for pricing. I think it's well worth it because if you sign up to another company that does this, it costs a lot more than that. So we really try to work with our vendors to ensure that you're getting, that we can offer you the best price that we can. So just quickly how it works. If I click on send and I click, let's say I want to do email to patients, it's going to populate you a list of all your patients. You can also look at them through 50 at a time, 100, up to you. A search box is coming for this, along with patient status filter. So this will make it much more simple for you to send to a specific group of patients if you wanted to. Other than that, you just simply select who you need, or you can press select all. You can input a new announcement message here. So this is my announcement message, for example, and then you can press send. The other option is to save it as a template. So if you wanted to save a template for this, please click save to template, select whatever you need. And then where it says templates, that's where it's going to come up. Okay, so for example, I already have some templates here. Like if there's an office party, you can add that, and then you can save as many announcements as you need. Okay, and then once you select it, press send, and it's going to queue it in our system. So again, we just launched this, so please reach out to us if you would like this to be enabled for your account. The pricing will be sent to you for this. And one thing we were informed of, especially for emails, if you're going to be sending it from your office domain, because I know a lot of you have custom domains, that has to be configured properly to prevent kind of like anti-spam. Okay, the other option is we can use the HelloNote domain. Okay, so if you have an issue with that, just let us know. We can switch you to the HelloNote domain, which I know some of you already did. So that's the announcement feature. This is great. I think it's going to do a lot of good for your clinic, especially if you want to announce like a new maybe specialty joining your office, or announce a new service, or maybe even office closure, whatever you need to announce. I think this will be extremely beneficial. The next recent feature that we added, that was very big because we've been waiting for this for a long time, and I know a lot of you were as well. The opportunity for you to create your own consent and intake forms. So if you go to settings and you click consent and intake, now you have the option to also essentially create any forms that you want, whether they be consent or intake. So just to quickly go over how this works. And we can enable this for you as well, just request it from us. There's no extra charge on this one. This is just inclusive of the system, as long as you have our regular package. So on the top right, you're going to press create new dynamic form. From here, you can name the form whatever you need. So say test form 4. And then you're going to choose the type of form. Is it a consent form or an intake form? So consent forms are essentially, if you look at the components on the left side here, you see here it says content and signature. So it only gives you two options, because consent is just a read-only document for your patients, and a signature to obtain the date and time that they signed. So it uploads directly into their patient chart. For content, I'm just going to take this, I'll drag it in. Okay. And now I can label it whatever I need, and then I can kind of customize the whole message. So our office requires and so on. You can do whatever you want on here. You can also add images. You can make this bigger, smaller, whatever you need. You can play around with, like for example, cancellation fee, whatever you need to do here. You can change colors, up to you. Once you're done, press save. And now you see here, it's going to load that up. And then just make sure you drag in the signature on the bottom. You don't really have to change anything here. It preloads sign above, but if you wanted to add an extra message, you can. And once I press save, so this is how that consent form will look like. You can reorder things. You can actually add more fields if you want to. So if you wanted to add different sections here, you're more than welcome to do that. And then the patient signs, of course, and it gets loaded into their chart under the documents. So aside from this one, we also have the intake forms. So the intake forms, once I switch that, you'll see that it changes the components. So you get a lot more components. And the reason is because intake forms actually require input from the patient, as opposed to consent forms where it's just a read-only document. Like you don't want them changing anything. So again, this is new. This is something brand new that we just launched. It's been a long time in the making. So our engineers worked really hard to bring this to life. And we are enhancing this as well. So if you have any feedback, please let us know. But for now, let me just show you how it works. So with the components, again, there's a lot. You could do a text field, content, you could do email field. So just for example, if you want to collect patient's email, drag that in there. You don't really have to put anything here because it already stamps email here. So just press save. You can also do columns. You can do a number field, phone numbers, date, time, check boxes, select boxes, which is really nice. So for example, with a drop down, let me show you how that works. So for example, like select boxes, I just drag that in there, right? And then I go to the data section, and then I could do, for example, option 1. I can add another field, option 2, and so on. So once I save it, then the patient gets the option to select, whatever they need. So you can do, past medical history, anything you need really. There's also an option to do more of a like a select here. So this way the patient can select option 1, option 2, and so on. So this would be more of a drop down style. So move up a little. Let me put this in here so I could show you what that looks. So right here, so you see option 1, option 2, and so on. So yeah, so you can customize this however you need. Also remember you can put images in here as needed. So any charts, that's perfectly fine. And then once you save it, then it does go into your bank, so you can pull it up. So I'm gonna go now to the Patients tab, just to show you how this works. So as you're all used to, you go to the Send Intake Consent Form link, okay? So if you are using the new dynamic forms that you created, you're gonna select this box here that says Is Dynamic Form, and now it's going to load you all the consent and intake forms that are dynamic. Okay, so you can select as many as you want for these. So I'll give an example. So let's send this one out. So you can add a comment or instructions. I'll put test for now. So once you save this, so remember this gets sent directly to the patient. So email or phone, whatever's on file. But a lot of our clients, what they do is they have patients that actually come into the office. So for example, if you're not a mobile office, you can actually have patients do it right there with you. And the way to do that is you send that form out, you can click this link, it's going to load it up. It's going to ask to confirm the birthday. So let's copy that, paste it in here. Once it's confirmed, I can press next, and this is just an example of a form. So again, you can put images in here, you can put in all your text in here. Once the patient signs, they press next, and then this is how it looks, for example, like an intake form. So again, nice and organized, nice and neat, much different than what we had before, where everything was kind of in line, and a patient, once they type, it would offset the text of a prior field or something like that. And what's cool is that with phone number, for example, it auto formats, and then it does validate the phone number as well. Okay, so same thing with email. So test@hello.com, and then the error goes away. So again, really cool. And you can also put in what brings you in today, or you could even do one of those drop boxes where you have the patient select something from your own value. So I highly recommend signing up for this, especially if you do have intake consent forms that you need to send to your patients. So we recently launched this, so we're collecting feedback. The feedback has been great so far from users. A few things that were requested. Well, actually, one main thing that was requested, and it is something we're working on, is for mapping of the fields. So once a patient submits this, it's going to upload to the Documents tab, which is great. But we will be taking it a step further, and we'll be allowing you to specify where you want that data to go. So if they put in an insurance number, for example, it's going to map to the insurance boxes. If you want it to be part of the demographics, it'll go to demographics. If you want them to put in the ICD-10 codes or something, it'll go to the case settings, which essentially feeds into the note. So that's going to be really cool. But again, we want to launch this as soon as possible. So once we finally got a working version of this, we want to launch it. We'll collect feedback, and from there, we'll of course make enhancements as we need. We're just very excited, and I know a lot of our clients are excited to finally have a tool like this. And this will complement a new feature that we'll be launching later this year, the kiosk feature. So with the kiosk feature, patients can essentially come to your own device. You know, if you have an iPad or a tablet in your front desk, they can essentially register themselves, schedule themselves, fill out forms, pay their bills, things like that. So that's also something exciting that'll be coming out soon. All right, so those were two really big features that we recently launched. Some other stuff that I want to go over is, let's see, so home exercise program, right? So as you know, we have home exercise integration here. We will be announcing a new partnership with a new vendor. We're working on the integration right now. There's a lot of cool features. and they also have RTM for billing, which is really nice. So we're looking forward to launching that. I'll give you a little screenshot of what the platform looks like, kind of here. Just showing, I just put this together before the meeting because I wanted to showcase a little bit about that. So you'll have a lot of exercises to choose from, a lot of customization. It also comes with an app for the patients where they can record themselves doing the exercises. They can rate their pain, their difficulty, and then you can run analytics on it. So really, really cool. We're excited to announce that partnership soon once that integration happens. And we will be signing you up to the new platform as well if you reach out to us, even before the integration. So let us know if you're interested. We'll be happy to do so. All right, so that's the home exercise. One other big component that we launched is user management. So when you go to administration users, you'll be able to essentially add your own users, remove your own users. We launched that, I think by now it's been already a couple months ago. So this way you're in control of your own users. So please add users without having to let us know. I know it's definitely took a lot of load off of our team and it improved efficiency on all of our client side because you don't have to reach out to HelloNote to add anybody. And same thing, you can remove users as you need. So that was an exciting update as well. So next one here. So I want to go to this page right here. So if you remember, we did send a automation email for pretty much for a survey, right? Because we are going to be bringing a lot more automation to HelloNote. We know what we're capable of to do as far as automation. However, we did want to reach out to you, to the community, and ask what is important, right? So I'll bring in the survey right here. Okay, so this is another screenshot. So we could see here, well, what is most important from the clients that we collected, right? So it seems like automatic plan of care was on top of the list. So we are excited to let you know that this should probably be out next month already. So plan of cares will be able to automatically be sent out once a notice finalized. And with the new Medicare essentially guidelines, so with plan of cares, having the opportunity just to send or an e-fax a plan of care with the date and timestamp is good enough, at least for the initial plan of care. Okay, so if you don't get it signed on time, at least you have proof that our system did send it. We track the date, time, who it was sent to, and so on. So that's a really cool feature. Then we kind of almost had a tie with automatic EOB and ERA posting and automatic claim generation for billing and submission. So we did launch that recently. We're working with the clearinghouse to get everyone set up with it. We did set a lot of clients up already that it's working, but there is a big backlog because I gotta say, I think almost every client wanted it turned on. So we're working with the clearinghouse to make sure that they send us the data so we can import that for you. Also, automatic claim generation for billing. That there's no need to wait for the clearinghouse. That's something we're doing on our end. So if you need it, please let us know. We'll enable that for you. Next is automatic patient statement generation and collections. Okay, so that's going to also complement our new feature coming soon for emailable statements. So another big feature that we're excited to launch is the ability for you to email your statements to your patients. This is not something we were able to do on our prior platform, and we also had to figure out the HIPAA compliance perspective of that because we cannot just have you send an email with patient information on it. So we came up with a way to send an email to the patient. The patient will click a link, they can verify their name or date of birth, and then the link will expire after, I believe it's like 7 days or something like that. You can always resend it or you can use the portal. But again, really cool because a lot of times patients don't want to use a portal, right? So they just want something sent to them so they can pay. So that should be coming soon as well. Then we have automatic patient review generation after positive patient feedback. So this is a really cool one. This is going to boost your engagement with your patients and get you better online presence with with anybody trying to find your clinic online. So this will also complement the kiosk feature, because in the kiosk feature, patients, when they can check in and then when they check out, it's going to ask them, how was your session today? And you will be able to customize that. And then based on that, if they're fully satisfied, we'll be able to generate a review directly from the patient side, from the system side, I mean, so the patient will be able to generate it. Yeah, and then once the patient does do a review, it will essentially flag it, so this way they don't get it again. So we are looking forward to releasing that. Next is automatic patient check-in. So that's part of the kiosk. So that is something we're working on. And again, we want to make sure that the new items we released are working to expectation and we get good feedback, because that's going to come into the kiosk. So we don't want to launch the kiosk too early, because a lot of those features will help us launch the kiosk successfully. Okay, because once we present the kiosk to the patient, we don't want any hiccups. We don't want any patients to be upset at your clinic or anything like that if something didn't go well. So we do our best to make sure everything is tested and we're collecting feedback. So by the time the kiosk is ready, all the features that are coming into the kiosk will be fully tested and all the features will be implemented. So that'll be a good upgrade. Next one, so patient cancellation. So this is for automatic reminders that your patients are getting. We did recently launch the option for patients to confirm their appointment. So we wanted to make sure that we want to reduce any no-shows or cancellations. And part of that is to make sure that we're allowing you to send appointment reminders to your patient. So by doing that, we have a new feature where patients can get a reminder, and then within that reminder, they can click, that I'll be there. For example, like that I'm confirming the appointment, as opposed to canceling that appointment. So that has been launched. Again, we're collecting feedback. We're actually going to use a new patient status for that. So you'll see a new patient status where a patient confirmed check-in versus a regular check-in with an OK symbol. So this way, you know that you can differentiate if a patient confirmed appointment versus you checked them in because they came in or were seen. So next is automatic waitlist fill for gaps in the schedule. So this is a really cool option, especially if you're a busy clinic and you're using our online scheduling. So when patients schedule online through your website, it links directly to the HelloNote calendar. And from there, if the appointment that they want is taken, we put them in a separate queue, and we can automatically fill that if there's any gap in the schedule or if a patient cancels. So we're testing that now. So just to give you an example, let's say you had a patient cancel in the morning, and then you had a wait list of, let's say, 3 people, for later in the day or something like that. So if you do have a cancellation and patient canceled, once you change the attendance to cancel, it's going to ask you, do you want to send your wait list a message, to see if anyone wants to take that spot. So then it'll send an email or text blast to your patients, and whoever can come for that time, it'll fill it for you. So that's a really cool automation feature for that. We did have some other suggestions, so we're reviewing those. Then we have automatic claim generation for billing submission. So if you want that turned on, let us know. It's going to bypass the need to go to the ready to send area for billing, and it's going to allow claims to go directly to the clearinghouse. And there's also a setting if you want to automatically release the claim as well. So if you wanted to go directly to the clearinghouse and release. We have that capability now. Again, and this assumes that there's no errors. So if there is an error on the claim, it will leave it and ready to send. But if it's a clean claim, everything looks good, then we can actually push it directly to the clearinghouse and release it for billing. Essentially, you get paid faster that way. So that's the goal there. So follow-ups, I think this one was linked to the patient cancellation one. So follow-up appointment reminders are important, and we did get requests to do more than one reminder. So right now our system, you could put text message or email. You can set how many hours prior to the appointment. We did get feedback that some users want to put like 2 reminders, maybe one like 2 days in advance, then one maybe like a couple hours before. So we are working on that. Next one, then the next few is very minimal. It seems like clients voted for this. So automatic EOB and ERA posting. So yeah, when you do posting of your ERAs in the system, you want them to be accurate. Meaning, when you get paid from an insurance, you want to review it. You want to make sure that you accurately got paid. So you don't just post something and assume it got paid correctly. And if there's an issue, of course, you want to review it with the insurance or whatever the reason is. So just a simple example is like a KX modifier, right? So we are enhancing our RCM side to allow you to filter based on denials, and you'll be able to flag certain denials. So if you wanted to create certain rules where you can post something that got paid, let's say with an average of the insurance payments, and we are tracking that, by the way, we are tracking your average payments now. So if it's within the scope, let's say of 5%, we'll post it. And if it's outside of the scope, we'll leave it for you to review. So again, we're using AI and automation to make your lives easier so you can concentrate on running your practice, marketing, treating, whatever you need aside from the RCM side. So then we have automatic patient review generation, so that we spoke about that with the kiosk. So again, if a patient does leave you a good review, it will trigger to send them an alert to for example, fill out a Google form or whatever you use for your reviews, we can do that. So the other ones, it seems like we went over, so just a few extra suggestions that were added. So let me go back to our main screen here. So a few things on the billing side. One thing I wanted to go over that I know a lot of clients were requesting before. So from the visits and receipts side here, so we do have a new feature that if you do send a payment link, so let's see here, let me just put in an address test here, perfect. So as you know, we do have the option to charge credit cards. One feature that we've been getting requested a lot about is this send payment link. So the send payment link is working. However, because we're using a vendor to collect the credit card information, that form for the payment link doesn't communicate back to HelloNote. So what we're doing is we're creating our own version of that form, and that version of the form will actually capture the credit card on top of if you wanted to add a credit card directly in HelloNote. So if you send the form out, it'll actually save the credit card for you, so you can use it at a later time. Just make sure your consent form states that you don't want to save any credit cards or anything without patient approval. And then also, once I send a link, for example, you'll see here a new feature we added with the little check here. So it actually stamps the date and time, depending on your time zone, of course, of the invoice number as well. So you can keep track of when payment links were sent, and it tells you the invoice number. So just as an example, this is the invoice number. So if a patient gets even emailable statements, this is going to work for emailable statements as well, even for printed statements. So whether you want to send a payment link, an email statement, or just simply print out an invoice, we will be stamping a little check mark and with the date and time and the invoice number. So you can keep track of when your statements were sent. And then, if a patient has a question on the form, you can simply put that in there and it's going to filter out that statement for that patient, which is really nice, as opposed to having to scroll and find the data service. So that's one thing I definitely wanted to go over. And then one thing I was requested to talk about, because it seems like some clients don't know that this is an option. So if you have a patient that has a patient responsibility, you can actually automatically feed the system to preload their patient responsibility right away without having to manually put that in. Okay, so if you go to the insurance tab and you scroll down where it says payments information, you see here I already have a record for a deductible. So if you don't have anything here, all you have to do is press add new record. You're going to select the case. You're going to select the date range, because sometimes, for example, co-payments can change different dates. You're going to select, let's say, copay. You're going to put in 15 here, whatever you need. And when you press save, it's then going to automatically update every single visit for that amount. Okay, so in this case, it's deductible. So if I change it, let's change it to a copay. Okay, so now when I go to visits and receipts, you'll see here it's stamped copay. Okay, so and remember it's per case. So this one here is so let me change this to PT. Let's save it. So right here, you see, so it's stamped automatically $10 copay once the attendance was checked in. So no need to wait for the note to be done. Kind of don't need to remember that a patient responsibility is due. If you are using the schedule, the calendar, you'll see an icon for co-payment, which is great. But this takes it a step further where we actually plug in the amount automatically along with the balance. And then you can simply print out a statement or once again, email statement, and so on. So I do want to make sure that everyone knows how to do that. Otherwise, you'll have to manually go and press actions, apply payment, and put in the patient responsibility manually. So again, a lot of automation related things that we're working on. And again, I want to thank the community and all our clients for giving us feedback. It's extremely valuable, and your feedback, might be small, but it can have a big impact for everybody. So we encourage you to reach out to us if you have a feature request. We're always adding more to our queue. Our support team, our engineering team, customer success team, sales team, onboarding, billing team, we're extremely grateful for them, because they help to make sure that the system's running and they do make sure that the questions are answered, and our engineers make sure that we can implement these suggestions and anything we can. So we're extremely grateful for them. So just a few more things to mention. So I did mention some upcoming events that we'll be having. Let's see here. So a few other things that I wanted to mention is one of them being like a scribe. Like a lot of clients are asking about more of dictation. So every browser or phone, if you open up HelloNote on your phone, for example, you will essentially have, I think every phone has it by now, like a microphone icon. So you can speak your notes into the system. Okay, so that's all included. We also have a dictation service. So if I go back to the information tab and I click on this button here, it's going to open up, if I'm on the phone, it's going to open up a dialer. You can leave us a message with the patient ID, the data service, what note you want, and our team will transcribe it, save it as a draft for you, so you can modify and finalize whatever you need. We will be enhancing this service as well, where you don't need to call us, but there are also scribes out there. So the two scribes that I know work well with HelloNote is Athalis has a scribe and Hippo scribe. So please reach out to us. We'll set you up with a demo if you need it, and you can see essentially how seamless it works. Essentially, the scribe listens to your your session, and then you click a button, it generates the note, and then it feeds it into HelloNote into the fields. So, and again, it doesn't finalize anything. Essentially, it puts everything into the draft form, and you're responsible to read over it and save it, which is much better than typing. So I definitely encourage you to at least try it out because I know there is a free trial available, so at least you can see if it works for you or not. But this is getting more popular, so definitely reach out about that. Yeah, as far as also clearing houses, so we do work with multiple clearing houses. We do our best to match you to, to essentially the best system possible, because we want 120% customer satisfaction. So we're grateful for all of the clients we have. HelloNote 2.0 was built to scale, so we are looking to onboard more clients that essentially are larger and want to scale. However, we work with many small clients. So with Kara Welke from Therapy Business Builder and Next Level OT, she's done a fantastic job of getting therapists out there to open a practice and help you with your practice. So even if you're on the small side, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help make sure that your journey with business ownership is successful. You could have a free consultation call. We want to do our part in the community. As a therapist myself, I want to make sure that, we grow with our clients, right? So HelloNote was not built, just to sell. It was built to grow as a community because when HelloNote first launched, it was essentially built for us to take care of our own needs of running a practice. So we want to share that experience with everybody. So no matter if you're small, just starting out, medium, large, we are working with everybody. We're grateful to have all of you with HelloNote, and if you are on this webinar and you're not a HelloNote client, please schedule a demo. It's free of charge. We'll be happy to show you the capabilities that we have and also what's coming out, which I mentioned a few things. Yeah, so we're very thankful for everyone, even just signing up for a demo. I know it's a time commitment. So we're confident once you do a demo, either you'll like the system or you'll have questions. So please sign up for a free demo at hellonote.com. All right, so the last thing I wanted to mention is going to be some upcoming events that we have. So one of those events is going to be at the, let's see here. So March 21st, I'll bring in a screenshot here. So I'll be doing a webinar with Kara on revenue cycle management. Okay, so if you're a therapy business owner, which I know most of you are, this will be very informative. So you can either look at the email that we sent because it does have the QR code there, or you can scan it directly from here. So it's going to be on March 21st at 12 Central, which is 1 Eastern. So let's see. Yeah, that is a Friday. Okay, so it'll be earlier in the day. It will be recorded, of course, just like this webinar will be recorded, so you'll be able to play it back. And then we have another upcoming event. The next event is going to be a live event. Okay, and this will be on April 6th. So that's actually going to be in Philadelphia, right after the AOTA conference. So please look at the email. You can register for it. There's actually special pricing for that event. So if you're in the area or you're attending the AOTA conference, please let us know. We'll be happy to have you. And for that conference, there are limited seats available because we are going to be doing it in a university. So please let us know as soon as possible so we can reserve your seat. And that conference will be very beneficial for practice owners. All right, so the next event that we will be doing. So let's see what the date is. So that's going to be So I'll be doing a RTM webinar with Rick Gowenda from Gowenda Seminars. So I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be at 7 p.m. It'll be about an hour and a half, and we will be raffling off a membership to Gowenda Seminars. Okay, so free of charge. So as long as you register and you're live on the webinar, we'll be raffling off a membership for Rick's courses. And yeah. All right. So the last thing I wanted to go over, there were some Q&A questions. So I did wanted to go over that. Let me put it here so I can go over some new ones that came up. All right. So one of the questions we had is, does our EMR include business reports to analyze business function, processing, productivity? Yes, we do. We have a whole bunch of reports in the system. So if I click reports, there's many different reports, and one of the mentioned ones was productivity. So we do have the productivity report available. And again, we encourage you to ask us of any reports you need. We'll be happy to build out reports. We're actually working on a way for you to customize your dashboard. So this way you can put important reports for you on your own dashboard. So once you log in, you can essentially see how your business is running. So one question is about, I heard in a previous Q&A that you were working on a mobile app. What is the status for that? So great question. So the mobile app is stated for this year. It's going to be later this year. It's it's not going to be part of the website, so it's a completely new development project. Okay, so the status of that is that we are still working on it. It is still planned for this year. We are also working on collecting feedback as to what you would like in the app. So if you have any specific requirements you want for the app, let us know. We'll be happy to include that. Next one is, let's see. So kiosk mode and automatic patient statement sending. So I went over that a little bit ago. So kiosk mode is still coming. If I would, I don't like putting dates on certain things, but I would say mid-year, I hope that we have this released. The automatic patient statement sending, that's going to be much quicker because next month I anticipate the emailable statements to be completed. And this way, then we can do the automatic one right after that. So I would say a month to 2 months for that one. Then we have a question, any talk about adding voice to document? So that's the scribe that I mentioned before. So reach out to us. We can set you up with a scribe for you to demo even. And we will be having our own kind of we have the dictation you can call in, but we'll have it more native to the browser. So that's going to be coming later this year. All right. So next question is, okay, so there's some question. Would like to know more information about the automated ERA and billing setup and verifying eligibility and benefits. So one thing I do want to mention from the insurance tab. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll probably notice this will change a little bit. And one thing we're adding here is eligibility, a column or a little like a icon. So even though we have check eligibility as an option here, we don't really record your last eligibility check. So over the next couple of weeks, we should be. So when you do check eligibility, one of the columns or an icon will display when last eligibility was checked, which is really important. So this way you don't have to manually record that into the system. So you can easily see that directly from here. Let's see. And then the question was, want to know how to add new staff members on our own and potentially sending intake and consent forms. So I went over that on the webinar. So for adding new staff members, you go to just administration users and click add new on the top right. We do have a knowledge base. So we'll reach out to you and we'll send you the link so you could see exactly how to do that. And then with the sending intake consent forms, that was one of the first things I spoke about on the webinar. So it's a great question. So very excited to have that functionality now. Next question was, can we customize the intake form, and can intake form include credit card form? So great question. So customizing the intake form I spoke about earlier. The credit card form, I did mention that we're building our own page that's going to allow patients to pay, and it will allow you to collect the credit card. Okay, so that is in the works already. So hopefully in the next month or so, we should be ready with that. Okay. Next question I have here. So, and I apologize if you ask a question, because some of the inquiries we got has like patient-specific questions. So we'll reach out to you directly on that. So this way we want to make sure that we answer everybody. So next question here is there a way to import patient consent and intake PDF forms by mapping fields from PDF to HelloNote? So great question. So we will be taking our intake and consent forms a step further to allow mapping. So yes, we'll be able to map the different fields and plug them directly into the insurance tab or demographics or the case settings. So that is something we will be doing. Again, just for transparency, we just launched this dynamic intake consent forms, and we want to give it about a month just to get everyone to give us some feedback, because it's easier to collect all feedback at once and enhance the feature as opposed to slowly enhancing it over time. And again, it essentially benefits everybody because we get a quicker output for that. We'll be able to deploy an update with all the new enhancements in one shot, as opposed to having to deploy over time. Okay. The follow-up question for that was, I don't see the patient intake form option under settings. So if you want to activate it, just send us an email, and we will activate it for you. We will eventually just activate it for everybody, but considering it's a new feature, we want to slowly roll it out. So because not everybody needs it, and then a lot of you I know use our old version, and there's nothing wrong with the old version for a lot of you. So if you're happy with that, you don't need to change it. So it's not like you're going to lose your old forms. So I want to make that clear. You do not have to, change the forms how you have them now if they're working for you. Okay. But now you actually don't have to reach out to us to create a new form. You can do that yourself. Is there a way to edit the contents of the send intake consent form link? So right now, so when we go to patient, we click on the send intake consent form. So I don't know if in the question you mean the content of the actual form or the actual link, but we will reach out to you to get clarification on that. So I'll be happy to answer that. Okay. So there's some live questions. I do want to go over those. So one of the questions is the consent feature included with monthly membership? So yes, it is. For most of you, it is, unless you're on the more on like the lighter plan. So if you reach out to us and you request this feature, unless we tell you there's an extra charge, then there will not be one. Okay. A lot of questions on signing up for the forms. So yeah, just please reach out to us and we'll do that. Another question was on Go High Level API integration. What are the possibilities? So this is actually something that we started to work on, the integration with Go High Level. So we are actively working on that integration. So if you use Go High Level for a CRM, it can complement your business. We have a few questions on if this will be recorded. Yes, absolutely. So please, you can be with your patients. No problem. This will be recorded and we'll send out a recording and we'll upload this to our YouTube channel as well. All right. So a question on mapping the intake form fields to the patient profile. So we'll probably use the remaining of this month to collect feedback on the intake and consent forms. And then starting next month, we'll probably start working on those enhancements. So I would say the mapping part of it, I would probably give it another couple months for us to get that done, along with any other enhancements that you want to see from this feature. All right, so we did also get asked about how to update change a visit cash price without changing all the prior cash visits. So for this one, so I'll quickly show how to do that. So for example, if you are changing like your visit type pricing, okay, so you have all the visit types in the system. So what I would do is I would inactivate any old visit type. Okay, so by inactivating it, it won't disappear from the patient's chart. It'll retain it, but you can deactivate one and then add a new one with updated pricing. So that is how you do that. I have a question on where to find this recording. So we will email everyone when the recording is available, and we will be uploading it to our YouTube channel. Question is, if you want features turned on, who do you contact? Great question. So we highly recommend on the bottom left, you click the help button, and then we do have the option to search for any article. So for example, let's say I type in intake. So you could see here in our knowledge base, it actually already has, how do I create my own consent intake forms? And then it's also linked to videos. So we are actively updating all of our videos to match HelloNote 2.0 and any new features. But if you want to activate something and there's no question that was answered here, just press contact us, fill out this form, just let us know that you want to activate a certain feature, and we will do it for you. Okay. So those look like majority of the questions related to this specific webinar. Let's see. We spoke about upcoming events. We spoke about the new home exercise program vendor, the announcement feature, dynamic forms, the billing automation, the user management to create and remove users. One thing I did not mention. So for every patient here, when you select, all the way on the bottom here, you do have the events here. Okay, so I do encourage everyone to use it because it does come with a reminder date and time. And we do now have a feature where every morning you'll get an email to let you know if there's any events due. Okay, which is a really cool feature. So just quickly how to do that. For every patient on the top, you can click on the action button called Create Event. Okay, this is where you can select the event type. So for example, let's say eligibility, you could do status of pending. And let's say you want to be reminded, let's say next Friday. Okay, so you can also tag another user. You can tag the case. And for example, patient has home health until 3/20, 2025. Run eligibility again later. So once I save this, so now it gets stamped all the way on the bottom. And you do have filters here, so you can sort by different filters. And you do have the event type, and you can also, collapse the window. So you can also search by any tagged users as well. So that's important. So for example, for this one here, I had it to remind me on 3/21. So that means on 3/21 next Friday in the morning, I'll actually get an email to let me know all of my events, not just this one. Okay, it's going to say like a little summary. So you have events due for patient ID number and so on. And we are using the patient ID, so you could easily just plug that into the patient list. And then once it's done, just press actions, update event. Then you can put in like complete, press save, and that's it. It just marks it as complete. So again, a great task management system within here that you can use with email reminders for your tasks. So that concludes this webinar. Again, greatly appreciate everyone's attendance. If you did not join live, we will be sending out the recording of this. If you again have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you, and we love having you on the journey of our own journey of making HelloNote, bringing HelloNote 2.0 into fruition and growing with the therapy industry. So really excited for the next phase. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. And I will speak to you soon.